Guys, it's Alyssa, and today I am joined by New York Times bestselling author Lauren Roberts. Hello, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Girl, I gotta know, is it Kitt or Kai?
I know. I wish I could tell you. Trust me, I want to talk about it, but my lips are sealed for now.
I'm sure. It's like if you tell us, you'd have to kill us, right?
Right, right. It's very top secret at the moment.
Well, we're all gonna find out here April 8th, so it's not too far away. All right,
Mhm.
you're coming to St. Louis for your Fearless tour. How excited are you?
I'm so excited. I've been to St. Louis before, and everybody there was so nice. Like, I'm from the Detroit area, so being greeted with such kindness is always nice. So I'm very excited to see everybody.
Yeah, it's kind of like Midwest nice is kind of that how that goes.
Yes, I love it.
All right. So you wrote Powerless when you were 18.
Mm?
Look at how popular it is now. Did you have any idea that people would be as obsessed with it as they are now?
No idea. No idea. I had the idea. It was a shower thought. And the basic premise was very much, what if I flipped the chosen trope? And instead of, this girl finding her power and saving everybody, like, what if everyone around her has the power and she doesn't? And that was like the basic premise. And from there, I hopped on the internet and was like, what do you guys think of this idea? And they were into it. So I was really just in my bedroom writing the book that I always wanted to read for me and also for those 200 people on the TikTok live. And that was it. I had no idea people would want to read it like they do. It's been so surreal. I'm so honored.
Speaking of TikTok,
Mhm.
your book really blew up on what we call book talk now. How
Mhm.
has social media kind of evolved your work as an author?
Oh, so much. Like I seriously would not be here if it wasn't for social media at all. And I think self-publishing too has been so like attainable as of late. I think the publishing industry used to be really hard to get your foot in the door, and now it's like the internet can turn a book viral overnight, and it's so insane. So I feel very lucky to have gotten my book on there at the right time. I think when I was advertising it, it was really right time, right place because it was as romantasy was kind of on the climb and it was being coined as a term. And I had happened to write this book that fell into that genre. So I feel very lucky and I couldn't be here without the love and support of social media.
Let me tell you, I am very thankful for romantasy.
Me too. I love it. And I love that it's like a coined genre now because it used to just
Hmm.
be fantasy or romance. And now it's like, no, we're really bringing the two together and it's just magical.
I love it. I love a good adventure, but it needs some romance. It needs some pining to make it more entertaining.
I need a yearning man. Like,
Yes.
that's what we need for the escapism because it's sad to say, but we don't have that in real life. Uh, Mostly. If you do, you're very lucky. But yeah, so I love reading about just a pining man. It's
Well,
amazing.
and then you took that and you gave us Kai Azer.
Yes, he was just like a compilation of some of my favorite book boyfriends, honestly, that I had read. And I was like, I want him to be kind of witty and just cocky, like overly confident, but not in like a gross way. So I really was trying to find this like balance of who I wanted him to be. And now it's like I can write him and Peyton and their banter with my eyes closed. Like I feel like I know them so well, and that's why it's bittersweet to kind of be stepping out of their relationship at the end of this series and stuff.
That's why I feel like it would be so fun to be an author because you get to control what happens. You get to put in what you want the characters to do.
Yes, I feel like an evil puppet master a lot of the times because I'm like, what should I have them endure in this chapter? Like it's a little, and sometimes I do feel bad, and people will ask me like, do you ever like cry? At the end of Powerless, there's some sad things that happen, and I get asked, how could you do that? Like, were you really upset? And for me, it's like when I'm writing, it's like stone cold. I'm just there putting the words on the page. And so I don't really think about it until after the fact. I'm like, oh, that was a little evil that I did that.
Oh, I guess that was a little
Right.
evil. It's okay. It's
And I'm like,
fine. We're here for it, right?
right.
So Kai Azer, there are so many of his quotes that I absolutely adore. It's
Thank you.
poetry. It's pure poetry.
Thank you so much. That seriously means a lot because he is kind of like my outlet for that. I love poetry. I love pretty words and just like structuring things. And like, I just love playing around with him and his character because he is my outlet for kind of spewing nonsense in poetry, which is so fun because I feel like, in a lot of fantasy books, that's not something that's seen as much because it's kind of out of nowhere. And so I was like, how can I incorporate this passion that I have for poetry in a way that isn't super jarring? And
Mhm.
so I used Kai kind of as that outlet, and he's just obsessed with Peyton. So it
And
worked.
it's fun to do the dual point of view because you can see Kai pining after Peyton, like, I want this girl, but I can't have her because I'm the king's enforcer. But then, like, she's like, what's your favorite color? And then we get, from her side of view, it's blue. But then in his inner monologue, it's this amazing poetry monologue that we get that I still remember today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. No, it's so fun. And I love, especially in a fantasy book, when we're talking about like balls and like the dancing. I love seeing from a man's point of view, just him being like just fiending over how gorgeous she is. And I love like being in his head and getting to describe all of that. It just feels, again, this all goes back to a groveling man, a yearning man. We love it.
We love a groveling man.
Love
We just love it.
it.
Okay. So, how did you get the idea for Powerless?
Yeah, so like I said, I was a shower thought, and it really started with that chosen trope idea. And then from there, I just compiled elements that I knew I loved to read. So there's nothing in there that's groundbreaking by any means. It's very much like, ooh, I love a competition. Let me add that. I love the use of powers and the lack thereof. And so let me use that. And I kind of gathered all these pieces together along with my favorite tropes. Because again, I was 18 and I crammed Powerless full of tropes because I just loved them. And
We're
so
guilty. They're guilty pleasures. We love tropes.
they are. And I feel like obviously as I've gotten a little older, I've, toned it down a little bit. I'm like, okay, not as many tropes, but they're still throughout the series for sure. And so I kind of compiled everything. And from there, I was like, okay, let me learn about my characters. And I started with Peyton and Kai and like who, what, when, where, why, who are these people, and what is their dynamic. And the world just kind of like fell into place around them. And I always say when I can put my characters around a dining table and they can hold a conversation and it makes sense, that's when I know I'm ready to kind of put them into the world. Because at the end of the day, everything is happening to them. So I felt it was really important to get to know them first and foremost.
Okay, here's a question.
Okay.
You can have dinner with any one of your characters. Who would it be?
Oh God, that is really hard. I feel like I want to say Kai, but I think he'd make me way too nervous. And I'd be like, like I would not be able to talk to him. So
Definitely
now
wouldn't
I
be able to
gotta
eat your food.
literally, I'd be like nauseous. I'd be so nervous. Um, I'm kind of feeling Andy. I just love Andy. She's so fun. I feel like we get along. And also Jax. He's just a little cinnamon roll. So I feel like with them, we just have a good time. But if I want to be a little nervous, it'd be either Kai or Peyton because they're intimidating and they're also super hot. So I'd be like, oh my God.
I'm biased. It's definitely Kai for me.
Yes. Yes. I get it. I get it.
Also, don't we just love that Book Talk has created these terms for us, like cinnamon roll?
Yes, I love it because it perfectly describes what we're all thinking, and like golden retriever versus like black cat,
Yeah.
um, and like grumpy sunshine. It's just so funny because it makes sense, and as soon as like a reader hears those phrases, they know exactly what you're talking about. So I love it. It's like
Shadow
our own
Daddy.
little shadow daddy, literally, like it's our own little language. I love
I
it.
love it. Okay, so speaking of social media, we always have the positives, but as creatives, our work is constantly being criticized by the public. So, how do you deal with negativity and stay in a good, healthy headspace?
Ooh, I will say it wasn't always easy. It's something that I've been learning and I still am. Because I used to seek out negativity and it was like my anxiety needed to be validated almost. And so I would look for it. And now I feel like I'm in a much healthier headspace where I don't look for it. I stay interacting with my readers and my community, but I don't kind of expand beyond that because at the end of the day, not every book is for every reader, and that's totally okay. So I'm like, I don't need to keep wounding myself by looking for negativity and things like that. So I try to stay as present and just like in my little community as I can. And I also love to remind myself of like why I'm doing this in the first place. Like it truly is just a dream of mine. And these books are so special to me and I try to kind of hold them really close and sometimes I'll go back and reread scenes or chapters that I'm really, really proud of. And that just helps reassure me and be like, okay, like I love this and I love these books. And that at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So it's something I'm still working on and I'm still growing with. But at the end of the day, I do owe social media everything. So I will always love it most of the time.
Most of the time, yes. At the end of the day, though, you're doing what makes you happy, and that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And I love that what I'm doing can make other people happy. And so I try to focus on that and focus on the good and the people who have been affected in really powerful ways by these books. And that just means so much to me.
It's also amazing how bent out of shape people get about books and fantasy. It's like it is fantasy, guys. It's not
Right.
real.
It's not real. And here's the thing is there is literature that is meant to be taken seriously. Like for sure, there's some very serious things and that is not this though. This is a good time. This is escapism. This is read what you love because you love it, you know? And so I think it's not always as serious as people make it out to be, but I agree.
Right. It's not serious at all.
Right?
Okay. Fearless is coming out. What can you
Hmm.
tell us about it?
Oh my God. Okay.
Kai's been put through the ringer so far.
He has been. He is so like, again, he's just pining over Peyton. It's almost a little sad. I was writing it and was like, oh, I just feel so bad for him.
That
And but I do
last line
anyway.
in Reckless, are you kidding, girl? From his point of view, made me cry.
Well, I'm so sorry to do that to you. I'm almost a little happy though, because that was the goal. I was like, I really want this to be like a, oh my God, what?
I'll send you
Um,
the bill from my therapist.
Please, you and so many others, honestly. The bills are piling up. But yeah, I guess I can say we're going to be heading to all of the different places on the map by the end of the series. So all those things all over the little map in the front. You'll have been to all of them, which is so cool for me because I got to explore with like different elements and some different kingdoms and things like that. So we will be traveling a little bit. And also, there is another point of view, and I won't say from who, but we have a few chapters from somebody else, which I thoroughly enjoyed writing, and they kind of give some more insight to things. But other than that, it is high stakes, tension. I feel like I lean a little bit more into the fantasy element, whereas Reckless was very romance heavy because Peyton and Kai had some issues to work through. But this one is very, it has that fantasy, like gritty feel to it. And you're gonna leave it probably with more questions still. So I hope people enjoy.
I love it. One thing I absolutely loved in Powerless was all the pining, but the romance was still there, even though it may not have been on the page, right? The tension was enough for me because you knew their feelings and it
Hmm.
was validated. But then we
Hmm.
got reckless, right?
Yes.
You delivered.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Reckless is very much it leans heavily on the character development and it's a smaller book, especially compared to the other two. Fearless is she's a big one. She's
She's
pretty thick.
thick.
Yes, she's a little bit bigger than Powerless.
Okay.
So plenty to unpack there. But yeah, Reckless was really focused on their character development and bringing them kind of back together before ripping them apart again. Fearless. So, but I promise it was so important for their relationship to rebuild before they step into all of the issues that come with Fearless. So I'm happy that you enjoyed.
Oh, I devoured.
Yes. Oh, that makes me so happy.
So yeah, I have tabs on Powerless, on Reckless. I am here for Fearless. And you said it was a setup for Fearless. It was a good setup book for the next one.
Absolutely. And it was very necessary. And again, it's so much smaller because I wasn't going to draw that out any longer. So you kind of get like Powerless, and then you get a little almost like palette cleanser of the two of
Mhm.
them together. And then you step into this whirlwind that is Fearless. So get set. I'm very excited to hear all the thoughts.
And we can't forget Powerful, the little novella. So are we looking at maybe more novellas in the future?
Yes, there is one more coming, which I actually just finished up. So I'm very excited for it. It feels a little different, but in a very fun way for me personally. But it's going to follow kind of the same format that Powerful did, where you can read it in tandem with the other books. So there will be more on that soon, but I'm very excited. I'm not allowed to say who it's about, unfortunately, but soon.
I'm sure, I'm sure. Okay, so are you working on any future projects besides that novella?
Yes, I do have things in the works. I have so many thoughts swirling and ideas. My notes app in my phone is just like exploding with random thoughts. So I do have plans. I think for now I'm gonna stay in kind of the romantasy genre for a little while. And then hopefully in the near future, maybe expanding. But again, there'll be more on that soon. But there's more books coming for sure.
So there's more art. So is Fearless not the last book?
It is the last book in Peyton and Kai's story.
Okay,
But these future ones coming is more so expansion on the world. It's going to take on new characters, new stories, things like
I
that. So,
love that.
yeah, so I'm kind of as I was writing this series, I realized I was like, wow, there's so much more to tell. So that's hopefully what I'm going to be doing very soon.
Well, and everything in your brain is everything that I love, so keep going.
Yay, I'm so glad.
So Fearless is the last book in the trilogy. How does it feel to wrap everything up and close the story of Peyton and Kai?
It is so bittersweet, especially because I feel very comfortable with them. Because, like I said, I can write them with my eyes closed. Like they just make so much sense to me and I understand them. And so it's really sad having to step away and say goodbye. But I mean, Fearless was a long little stint of my life. Like I spent a lot of time on that book. So I feel like I got to have a good goodbye with them. But yes, very bittersweet. But at the same time, I'm excited to step into new things. And something that I didn't start when I was 18. As much as like I love Powerless and I owe everything to it, I'm excited to start something fresh, in like my present day 22-year-old self.
Well, we are excited to see what else you come up with. Peyton and
You.
Kai, if that's just the start of your journey, you're doing well, Lauren.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I have so many thoughts of different pining men. So don't worry, there will be more in the future.
Well, I'm here for it. You know I am. Okay.
Yay.
So if people want more updates with your author journey or if they would like to buy Fearless, where can they go?
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and I have a Substack where I just yap about whatever. It's a very loose kind of writing little platform for me. And those are all at Lauren Roberts Library. And if you want to pre-order Fearless, buy Fearless, you can get it anywhere that you buy your books. And there's a lot of different editions, and they're really gorgeous. And I spent some time doing bonus content for a lot of them. So if you're curious about that, you can kind of look whatever one you like.
And April 8th is release day.
Yes, so exciting. It's really coming up quick. So
It
I can't
is.
wait to celebrate.
And then you'll be in St. Louis on the 11th. So it's like a double treat.
Yes, I cannot wait. I have some fun things planned for the events. It's going to be a very just fun book night with all the girlies and hopefully their boyfriends or some boys. I love to see the men coming out for Kai.
Yes, because then you can tell them how to behave. Like, guys, this is a blueprint of how to
Yes.
do it. This
No,
is
I
what you
love
should be
it.
doing.
Right. No, it makes me so happy. I love hanging out with everybody. It's amazing.
I love it. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you. This has been such a blast. Thanks for having me.